Welcome back to the shop. This is going to be a little bit of shop talk on shock bumpers, and we're going to talk about seals a little bit too. But the shock bumper, we often generally think as long as it's there, still in good shape, it's not broken or anything or breaking apart, that it's good, right? But what if I was to tell you from a performance standpoint, that's not necessarily true? See, the shock bumper isn't there just to prevent metal-to-metal slamming. It functions as a highly progressive secondary spring. As the shock compresses, when it reaches about 3.5 to 3 inches of the last bit of stroke on the rear end, it makes contact with the shock bumper. And as it compresses or smashes down that shock bumper, it becomes significantly stiffer the more it's crushed, which spikes up your spring rate at the absolute end of the stroke. It allows you to absorb a lot of the big hits on the track and everything without actually feeling it. But did you catch what I said there? The last 3 to 3.5 inches of stroke, you're actually starting to crush that bumper, and it greatly increases the spring rate, the overall spring rate, as it compresses that bumper, which means it's actually part of your suspension's tuning. This is my YZ125. You can see that shock bumper is nice and bright. It's pretty much brand new, probably has about 2 rides on it. This is the one I pulled out of it. Yeah, it doesn't look bad, but it actually was bad, and the difference was truly felt. When these are brand new, they're pretty stiff. Whoa, these roosters are going nuts. They're pretty hard to crush by hand when they're new, but when they're older like this one, watch this. You'll see it first start to crush right there in that area. See it smash the ribs in right here. It first starts there. That's the easier part for it to compress, and as it flattens it out, let's say you bottom out real hard and completely flattens it. Once it flattens these 3 softer spots, then it has to flatten the fatter areas that are firmer. So it progressively gets stiffer as it compresses. Again, it's going to be about the last 3 to 3.5 inches of your rear end stroke. Now we have about 12 inches overall stroke on these modern day dirt bikes. So with about 12 inches, maybe a little bit more than 12 inches of overall rear end travel on these modern day dirt bikes, and these bumpers coming into play at the last 3 to 3.5 inches, that's basically a quarter of your whole suspension stroke on the rear end is riding on this bumper, the last quarter. So this thing's pretty important. So you can see this is more than just to kind of stop it from doing the metal to metal clank when you bottom out the rear end, but it actually does slow down the last bit of suspension travel and increase the stiffness on the last little bit, and that does affect the handling of the bike. It's much like the fork oil in the outer tubes of our forks here. As you add more oil in the forks, you're going to increase the last 1/3 of the travel on the forks, and you can take some oil out and you can actually soften that last 1/3 of the travel. It's tunable by the fork oil amount that we put in there, and they call that the air spring. So it kind of ramps up the overall spring pressure of the forks on the last little bit of stroke, depending on how much oil you run in the outer chamber. Well, the shock bumper does the same thing, but it's not really tunable unless we went to a different design shock bumper, and they do have that. I know Factory Connection and as well as Race Tech, they sell some bumpers like the triangle bumpers and stuff like that to kind of change the progressive rate of the last 3 inches of your suspension travel on your rear end. But for us normal folks, the stock shock bumper is typically fine. But again, they do age, and you want to get them out of there when they start getting old. So how do you know when yours is getting old? Well, I'm first going to explain to you how it feels when they start getting old, and then I'll tell you about how many hours I do it and how many hours I suggest changing them out. On my own bikes, I can typically feel when it's getting old because I will start being able to tell when I reach the bottom of the stroke. So like on a fresh bumper or a fresh bike, let's say it's a low hour bike, so the bumper's good, or I just put a new bumper in the bike, I really can't tell when I hit the bottom. Yeah, I can tell when suspension kind of stops moving down there, but it doesn't really jump out at you that you hit the bottom. However, when the shock bumper starts getting old, I will literally start feeling the thunk when I hit the bottom. Everything's fine, compression's fine, rebound's fine, the shock's serviced, everything's good. But now I'm starting to be able to tell when I'm hitting the bottom. Let's say I'm going through some really big rockers or some really big whoops that have a whoop where I have to dip into and come out, and I'll feel the back and go, Gunk. Well, that's an indicator to me that the shock bumper is getting worn. And the reason you can feel it is because, again, when they're brand new, they're pretty stiff right away as soon as you start compressing them. But as they get older, they get loose, they get just spongy and soft. When they get spongy and soft, when the shock, well, here, let me break a shock. Ignore that dirty old shock. I bought it on eBay just for the spring. I wanted the titanium spring off of it, and I'm just going to use it for parts at this point. But anyway, when the shock finally makes contact with the bumper, well, now it's compressing the bumper. On a soft old bumper, it's going to compress it without actually raising the overall spring rate, so to say. It's not going to make the rear end stiffer yet as it's compressing it until it gets it almost flat, and then it's going to, out of nowhere, it's just going to ramp up and do its job and stop the rear end from moving any further. And that's why you feel it, because it didn't slow it down until it finally stopped it. Where a new one will start slowing it down the minute it makes contact. It'll slow it down, and then when it finally gets it fully smashed down, it already slowed it down pretty good, and you're not really going to feel it. And that's important as far as handling is concerned, because these bikes are designed for that bumper to be there in healthy shape and to start slowing down the travel, the rear end, on the last quarter of the travel, just like your fork oil would in your forks here. So another thing I'll notice when the shock bumper gets old is the bike will have a tendency to start jumping front and high when I smash into the face of kicker jumps. You know, type of jumps that compress your suspension right before you go airbound. I'll notice it starts jumping front and high because the back end doesn't, it's sinking too low through the bumper instead of like pushing that energy up and sending the bike up and level. Now it's sinking in and sending it front and high. So that's another way I can tell. And typically when I take an old shock bumper off my bike, like I showed you my 125 over there, and I put the new one on, I feel it right away. First few laps around the track, I'm like, oh, this is definitely better. Even my older YZ250 back there, I put that shock bumper on probably about 40 hours ago. You can see it's starting to get a little bit dark versus the YZ125 that's brand new. But that one, that was a game changer for that bike. That bumper was in pretty bad shape when I swapped it out, and it totally fixed up the handling characteristic of the rear end. And it really is the little stuff like this that make a new bike feel new and an old bike feel old, because these type of parts are kind of neglected on bikes. And then we ride someone's older bike that maybe has 150 hours on it, and it doesn't feel as good as a brand new bike. It's really because stuff like this has just been neglected, and all that kind of stuff all over the bike adds up after a while. For me, at my current riding level, about 140 to 150 hours is when the shock bumper really starts showing its age, and I just get a new one in there. I would say if you're a really fast guy and you're really pushing the bike hard, you're probably going to want to get a new shock bumper in there at about 75 hours. And if you're a slower guy or you're riding the trails and you're not really relying on your suspension a whole lot, then you can just run that shock bumper as long as you want, as long as it's there, because you're not so concerned about the peak performance of the suspension like us faster or track guys would be. Now, when I change out a shock bumper, I also change out the shock seal. So like I said, for me on my personal bikes, 140 to 150 hours, I get them out of there. The seal head might look fine, might not be leaking. You think everything's fine, you keep using it. But these are some fork bushings right here. You see that black coating right there? That's a Teflon coating. On this one, it's on the inside. On this one, it's on the outside. But they're just brass bushings with a Teflon coating. They do the same thing on the shock bushing. There is a Teflon coating on that bushing. Now it does wear away through time. Let me get something to point with here. Here you go. Alright, you can see there's a little bit right here of the Teflon coating still there, but if you look down in there a little bit deeper, let me point it from this way, right back here, you can see it's starting to look like a copper brass color. And on this side right here, it's up top, you can see that copper brass color, and you can still see the Teflon coating down there. You can see it's been wearing away. This one's pretty much done. Now, when it first wears away, the Teflon coating, you're not going to know right away. It's still going to perform fine for the most part. Your seal will still seal, but it does increase the friction on the shaft of your shock when it strokes in and out. It will increase the friction, which long term can actually start to wear into this a little bit. Usually what happens as it wears that out is the shaft will get kind of sloppy in the bushing here. You'll start getting play, which I can see there's a little bit of play on this one, and as it develops that play, the seal can't fight that play after a while, and it oblongs the seal, and the seal goes bad and starts leaking. But you want to get to it before that happens. You want to get to it while the Teflon coating is still there, and maybe it's just starting to wear away like this one, or maybe you catch it right before it wears away. So I would suggest putting a new seal with the bushing on it at the same time you do the shock bumper. And like I said, if you're a really fast guy, every 75 hours. If you're an average guy like me, I consider myself, average track rider, every 150 hours or so. If you're a slow track rider, maybe every 200 hours. And if you don't really care about your suspension, just run it until something leaks or the shock bumper comes apart. Down in the description, I'll have a link to a video where I changed the shock bumper and the seal on a YZ shock, a KYB shock. It's a walkthrough on the KYB shocks, changing that stuff out. I don't currently have one for the show or the WP yet, but it's pretty much the same stuff. If you're curious on how that's done, check down in the description. Alright, that's pretty much a wrap. I just wanted to get this video out there because I don't think many people talk about how important the shock bumper is as far as for the overall performance of the rear end on the motorcycle. I think it's often overlooked. This weekend, I don't know where I'm going to be riding at yet. It'll be on Saturday, but I'm definitely taking out the YZ 252 stroke. I hope all you guys get a great weekend of riding in wherever you're at. I appreciate you watching this video. If you like this kind of stuff, you know what to do. Catch you in the next video.